Hello, everybody. This is Marie, and I am an expert in all things sex and the city. Now, a lot of people have made comments about wondering what that even means. Let me be very clear. I am a certified sex and the cityologist, licensed to practice in 3 states. We are 8 episodes deep into the Sex and the City reboot, and just like that. And I am very excited today to be the first person to have an exclusive interview with Miranda Hobbes' Cheap Wig. You can follow the wig at Hobbes Wig. That's at HOBBESWIG on Twitter. They have a fabulous account. So let's get to it. I want to thank you so much for joining us today, Wig. Can I call you Wig?
Yes, you can call me Wig or Wiggy.
And since you're starring in the very woke and just like that, can you please clarify your pronouns? I would hate to misgender you.
No, I'm a wig. I have no genitals, so I suppose that makes me non-binary? I am asexual, but more important than my sexual identity and sexual orientation is my dedication to the craft of acting. I don't care what pronouns you use to describe me, but I do care that you respect my dedication as an actor.
Oh, I absolutely do. Quite frankly, I've been fascinated by your performance throughout this entire series. You pull so much focus, I cannot take my eyes off you.
Thank you, but I understand that's not necessarily a positive thing. I've seen a lot of hate on the internet.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. I can only imagine the things you've read on social media.
Yeah, most of it really isn't very flattering.
That's so terrible. You seem like such a nice wig, and honestly, I do not wish to insult you, but I do have to address the elephant in the room. How did you manage to get cast on the show in the first place? I mean, from what I've read about your background and your Twitter account, you are the Granny Karen model wig from Party City. You cost $7.99 retail. I mean, you're playing a lead role in a series based on the characters of Sex and the City, which celebrates high fashion.
I know, I get that a lot. The last episode that aired featured an $80,000 Versace gown, and then also $8 little old me.
So how did it come to be that you play such a prominent role on a show about fashion?
It really has been a comedy of errors making this show. The first thing you have to understand is Cynthia Nixon refused to come back and do this series unless, well, as she put it, this show was super fuck me up the ass woke. And I apologize for my language. I'm merely quoting Miss Nixon. She came in with this insanely long list that was always in the production room. Like, how many people of color? How many black people? How many queer people? You know, do we have an Indian? Hey, check, do we have a Mexican? Can we get a queer Mexican? She's like, I'm running for governor and I need to be seen with a queer Mexican. She also had this very long list of issues she wanted to teach the audience, such as white savior syndrome, mansplaining, non-binary pronouns, black art, Hindu traditions. Like, she basically wanted to turn the show into like Schoolhouse Rock, but without all the great musics, you know? So like this really pissed off Michael Patrick King.
Are you telling me that Michael Patrick King punished Cynthia Nixon by making her wear you?
Wow. Ouch. No. Bitchy much?
No, I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to understand your point about that.
No, what I'm saying is he totally lost his temper. Like, apparently, whenever he was all alone, he would call Cynthia Nixon the C word and push over all the furniture, really threw a fit.
Well, if he was all alone, how do you know he did all this?
Sassy told me.
I'm sorry, who is Sassy?
Sassy is the sassy shag wig from the Raquel Welch line that Samantha Jones wore in season 4 to stalk down Richard Wright. Now, they store in the same closet, and we've become super close besties. So, anyway, she heard him saying, like, I'm the king of all Michael Patrickses, I'm a genius. I'm not politically correct at all. I made all the gay men flaming queens on Sex in the City, so you're not going to tell me how to run my show. Blah, blah, the whole bit.
Did he confront Cynthia Nixon?
No, he really needed her to tell this great story about Big dying. So he agreed to all of her demands, but she overlooked one thing.
And what was that?
Of all the isms that she wanted to battle, she forgot to add ageism to the list. So Mr. King was like, I'm going to make these bitches old AF. There will be ageism in half the scenes. Now, I'm going to make these greedy, entitled ladies have, busted hips. I'm going to make people call them ma'am. I'm going to have plastic surgeons tell them that Mother Nature hates them. And most of all, he was really excited about giving Cynthia Nixon gray hair.
So that's why you're gray?
Yes, but for the first episodes and some of the earlier shots in the second episode, they dyed Cynthia Nixon's hair gray. She's naturally kind of blondish,
Yeah, the first episodes and that opening scene especially, her hair looks natural.
Yeah, it has a natural part, a choppy back. It has highlights and lowlights, and they're tiny flyaway at the roots, natural.
Uh-huh.
So she was actually forced to have her hair cut. Cynthia Nixon wanted to wear her hair in dreadlocks. Apparently, one of her many, many black friends assured her that it would be cultural appreciation, not cultural appropriation. But Michael Patrick King said no because he wanted her to look exactly like his grandmother.
Wow. So if they chopped and dyed her hair, why did they need you?
Because then Cynthia got cast in that wannabe Downton Abbey show.
The Gilded Age.
Yeah, that's the one. She needed to prepare her natural hair for the styles of that show.
Wait, so let me get this straight. She wears a wig for a show that pays her $1 million per episode, but she uses her real hair for a non-proven period drama?
Yeah, she calls it artistic integrity.
Okay, so is this when you got hired?
No. So the head hairstylist, who's also a master wig maker, by the way, her name is Nicoya Yancey. She created this beautiful gray wig made with real human hair. Since there was no indigenous people being represented on the show, she used genuine Cherokee hair. And it was stunning, It had multi-dimensional coloring, a natural-looking part. It was wonderful.
So then what happened to that wig?
That wig was allegedly sexually harassed by Chris Noth. She's currently suing HBO Max and pressing criminal charges.
Oh dear. Well, did you ever witness Chris Noth do anything untowards?
He was off the show before I started, and I believe everybody should be considered innocent before proven guilty, but I also think it's important to believe wigs. At least listen to all of the wigs and take the allegations seriously, Hashtag believe all wigs.
Absolutely. So after the Cherokee wig left, they hired you?
No, then Nicoya made another Cherokee wig, which was even more beautiful, but that wig got sick with COVID.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, I'll say they burned her to death.
Wait, they burned her to death?
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, New Yorkers don't mess around. They're really hardcore about COVID.
Damn, I guess.
So that's why, and when they cast me. Since I was manufactured in China, I can help represent the Eastern Asian population. They also have that 50-year-old comedian, Bobby Lee, who's playing a 26-year-old podcaster. Now, he was born in America, but his parents are Korean. But I helped to further round out the Asian representation. They also ran out of Cherokee hair, and since I'm made out of polyurethane, I won't smell like a burned dog if they have to kill me.
Wow, that's super dark.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. But seriously, burning and sexual assault aside, this was like a huge break for me, right? Like Sarah Jessica Parker would even give me a hard time because they had to plan the entire shooting schedule around my styling.
What do you mean?
Well, since you can't style me with a heated iron, every style has to be slowly developed with wetting and air drying and unheated curlers and kitty litter.
Wait, did you just say kitty litter?
Yeah, it's how they get that natural grainy texture in the grittier scenes, like when Miranda stalks Che in front of their Uber to declare her love.
Yeah?
Yeah, to capture the romance of that interaction, they scrunched me in a wet Ziploc bag, aired me out, and then placed me in a litter box for 2 days. But that's like one of the last scenes we filmed. Like the first scene I actually shot was the one, and they use it in a lot of the press. It's the one where Miranda is DMing Che in the laundry room. I'm very flat and straight in that scene, like the picnic scene. That's me just being straight and flat. But then they cut me into sort of an angled bob for some of the more glamorous dinner scenes and like the show's main poster where the three of them are standing around and they're dressed in black and looking over their shoulders and the white light kind of coming from behind them. All right, and then they started like curling my tips like for Big's funeral. And then they started messing up the curls like when I'm outdoors at the farmer's market. Or you remember that scene where I'm in that like weirdly contrived gay pride rally where there's like 40 people carrying around these super designed signs. All of them have signs that have nothing clever to say, which totally happens at gay pride events.
So it sounds like over time they devolved the looks.
Yeah, but no matter what, you can always tell it's me by the flat, pale color, like there's no multi-dimensional tone. I also have like this tiny, tiny little part, which is actually just sort of a seam with the fibers sewn flatly into it.
So you're the only wig on the show?
No, I have a stunt double. They use a stunt wig for all of the chase sex scenes, the vibrator scene, anything involving fingering.
Wait, they used a stunt wig to film the fingering scenes?
Yeah, her name is Judy, and she is super athletic. She can stay on during anything. I mean, they don't even bobby pin me.
Wait, you're a wig? They don't even bobby pin you?
Well, Bobby Lee offered to pin me down. No, I'm just kidding. No, he wasn't like serious or anything. He's just a method actor and was in like the headspace of being a deeply gross and unfunny podcaster. That's just his creative process. He wasn't being a creep. I love Bobby.
Hilarious. But still funnier than Che, huh?
I know, right? I mean, man, if I had to grab onto Cynthia Nixon's head during those tedious comedy concerts for one more minute, man, I really wanted Judy to do those scenes too. I mean, Miranda laughs so hard in those scenes that I really have to hold on for dear life.
Wow, that must be tough. So you don't seem to like Che very much. Are you Team Steve or are you Team Chambo?
Don't get me wrong. I love Sara Ramirez. I mean, they are a national treasure. Being non-binary myself, I'm happy for the representation. I'm just really sad they had to take away other representation to make room for this new storyline.
What do you mean?
Pretty much every time we were filming in the streets of New York, some woman would come up to Cynthia Nixon and gush over how they were a total Miranda. These women would complain that people just assumed they were lesbian because they were like independent or opinionated and had short hair. So when Miranda was on Sex and the City, she was like this unapologetically straight woman with like big dick energy, and people started realizing these women weren't always gay. These fans would absolutely flock around Cynthia and tell them their stories. Like, Miranda was the one person who truly represented them.
So how did Cynthia Nixon respond to that kind of feedback?
She would thank them and bump elbows and pose for selfies. But like the moment we were all alone, she would just laugh maniacally and say, "They're all just lesbian, they don't know it yet. Wahahahahaha."
Yeesh, sweetie. Did you ever try to correct her?
Well, hell no, I didn't. I don't want to lose this job. Now, whenever things would get tense, I would just go and get high with Seta. To get in the headspace of Che, they do a ton of weed. Now, unfortunately, no one starring in or producing the show has ever heard of odorless vapes, so my fibers now, totally stink of weed and litter.
Gosh, that sounds like a pretty brutal work environment.
It can be. Whenever I arrive on the set, Kristen Davis is always like, look what the cat coughed up. I mean, they're such mean girls. I can see why Kim Cattrall left.
So is Kristen Davis like the worst of your colleagues?
No, that would be all of those old Samantha Jones cancer wigs. They're always ganging up on me and bragging about how they used to watch the old Sex and the City episodes on prime time, Sunday nights with their girlfriends while drinking Cosmo. Like, bitch, you don't know what it's like to stream and live tweet a show all alone at 3 a.m. on a Thursday morning. I mean, no wonder I have anxiety.
Aw, I'm so sorry to hear that, Wiggy. You deserve better treatment.
Yeah, they're just jealous. Not a single one of those wigs are as memorable as I am.
Well, that is for sure. So tell me, while you were filming the series, did you ever witness any behind-the-scenes fighting going on?
Not at all. I mean, the brilliant Miss Sarah Jessica Parker had a special soundproof room built for private, infighting. Apparently, this is because Mario Cantone gets so loud whenever SJP throws any, passive-aggressive shade.
Sounds like a lot of drama. So for all of the fans out there, do you have any spoilers for the season 1 finale?
Yes, totally. So spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear the ending, you want to turn off this, recording now. But the final episode will consist of nothing but all the new characters getting story arcs of their own. For example, LTW, like Lisa Todd Wexley, the documentarian who's on Vogue's Best Dressed list and has a husband who's running for the mayor of New York City. Well, she's going to have a whole complete story beyond, just Charlotte describing all of her artwork in her house. All right, and Seema, the sexy single real estate mogul, she is going to have a full dating story that's not about her stereotypical Indian parents obsessing over her marital status. And Naya, that house-building, humanitarian, brilliant Columbia law professor, the one that has that musician husband who dresses like he's from Tribe Called Quest, from the 90s. So she's going to get a story beyond just her pregnancy status, like a beginning, middle, and an end.
Wow, that sounds like a lot for just one episode.
Oh, wait, also, Carrie's podcast buddy, Jackie Nee? The one with a gun and the hot designer girlfriend named Smoke? Yeah, well, they're still gonna ignore him and his whole story because they really don't like straight men on the show.
They don't seem to really like the audience either.
Haha, no, they don't.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Wiggy. I learned a lot.
Thank you so much for having me.
And to all my listeners out there, let's all get excited for episode 9. We have 2 more shows left of this season at least. Probably this series, but they keep threatening us with a good time of a second season because they have so many stories to tell, and we're 8 episodes deep and they haven't bothered telling us any of the stories that they meant to tell in the first place. So until next time, y'all have a great day.